Welcome to 2016. Last year I committed to learning more and getting fitter. Never in my wildest dreams did I realise that learning was actually the key to me getting off my butt and out the door to exercise. Hey there, I'm Sal from SelenaKnight.com and the Bringing Business to Retail podcast, and today let's talk about how you can act on that New Year's resolution to get fit and learn something new. Normally on Bringing Business to Retail TV, we talk about actionable business strategies that you can implement to grow your business. Well, this episode is about you because you are your business's most important asset. Let me tell you the story of how wanting to learn more actually taught me how to run. For me, 2015 was about learning. I was determined to enroll in some courses, read loads of books and blog posts and all those newsletters that I subscribe to and then delete because of email overload. Sound familiar? Here's what I did. Starting with the email, I went and created a separate email address for newsletter subscriptions. This way, I could focus on proper business emails, and when I had some spare time, I could flick through and see what I needed to read from the newsletter subscriptions. I know that there are a load of programs that can help you with email overload, like Unroll.me, Sanebox, and Boomerang. And at some point this year, I'm sure that I will get onto that. But what I found though was that I just didn't seem to have big chunks of time to dedicate to learning. Once Google Reader was relegated to the Google rubbish tip, I couldn't even keep track of blogs. I used to flick through them in the line at the supermarket or whilst I was cooking dinner, and I never really got the hang of Feedly, which was kind of like the Google Reader substitute. So my blog reading went by the wayside. And I don't even really know how I stumbled onto podcasts, but what I do remember is thinking that it was way too technologically advanced for me. And I didn't have iTunes because I'm an Android girl. At some point, I bit the bullet and downloaded an app that I could listen to podcasts through. I chose Podcast Addict simply because it was the first one that came up on the list. But you can use Stitcher on Android or iTunes for Apple lovers. There's a bunch of different apps you can use for podcasts. This was a massive turning point for me. All of a sudden, my 20-minute trip to work was filled with all this new information. My head was spinning and so many ideas that I could put into practice. For the first couple of months, it seemed that I was starting every conversation with, I was listening to this podcast and. In fact, finding podcasts was one of the key drivers, get it? Drivers, because I was listening to them when I was driving to work. It was the key drivers for me achieving another goal, which I was failing miserably at, exercising 3 times a week. All of a sudden, I wanted to exercise more so that I could have another 45 minutes to fit in more learning. I was now getting 2 podcasts a day in, and I actually started doing 4 walks per week. All of those endorphins and knowledge was making my brain swirl, and I could not turn it off. I was imagining just how different my business would have been if I'd stumbled across this way of learning earlier. And it made me realize that independent retailers just don't have the time to work on themselves. They are so busy working in their business and not necessarily on their business. We've all heard it before. So, it propelled me to do something. It's the reason that I launched the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. And my aim of the podcast is to bring business experts, mostly from outside the retail industry, to share their knowledge and wisdom with you. Now, it may sound a little bit counterintuitive bringing in outsiders, but I promise you, you can learn so much from other people, especially when their situation is removed from yours. Listening to podcasts introduced me to Natalie Sisson, the suitcase entrepreneur. In fact, joining her mastermind was the catalyst to me selling my retail stores and creating this new business designed to help you, the small business retailer. I now have a stable of podcasts that I listen to. And at the moment, in addition to the Suitcase Entrepreneur, which is on high rotation, are Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income, Amanda Cook's Wellpreneur Online. Now, I love her podcast, even though I am not in the wellness industry. Amy Porterfield's Online Marketing Made Easy, which is probably my favorite. Tim Page's Conversion Cast, Soulful PR with Janet Murray, and School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. In the second half of 2015, I increased my running goal to 4 sessions a week. I've gone from never being able to run to running around 20 kilometers a week. Now, that's not to say that I'm really fast or that I'm even great at it, but I do it and I feel healthier for it, and I'm learning something new every single time. So I'd love you to think about getting hip with technology and starting to expand your business by learning with podcasts. If you're not sure how to do it, I've put a little tutorial on my website and I'll link to it in this episode's show notes. I've also put together my list of favorite podcasts. Now, I tend to mix and match depending on what I feel I need to learn more about, but you can grab a copy of the list over at selinaknight.com, or if you're in the US, by texting RETAIL26, so that's retail with the number 26, to 33444, and I will send it your way. If you found this information useful, come and join the Bringing Business to Retail community. We're a bunch of retailers chatting all things business, and best of all, it's free. For this week's podcasts that will help you grow your business and get fitter, plus a link to the Bringing Business to Retail community, head over to selinaknight.com. Until next week, be profitable. P.S. I want you to listen to the podcasts while you're out there doing some exercise and doing something for yourself. Happy 2016.